live. Welcome to 40 Fit Fu, episode 63. My name is Oscar, and this is Mimi, and she's squatting.
We are here every Tuesday at 7:45 to give you fitness tips, advice, help, just to help you stay fit and be able to do Kung Fu or Tai Chi after 40 or before 40, but really after 40. So
because we are after 40?
We are after 40. Yeah.
We are after 40. Hold my hand. We are after 40. Okay, so here's what we were thinking, right? Have you ever been to China? Have you ever seen a hole in the ground and been afraid because you had no idea what the hell to do? Well, in China, there are, even though they have kind of been industrialized, they do have some what they call Western toilets, but they also have a lot of Eastern toilets.
Which really is just a hole in the ground.
Basically a hole in the ground. A third world hole in the third world toilet, which is a hole in the ground. And if you can't squat, you're not going to be able to use the bathroom. You're gonna run into some problems.
It's quite a challenge.
But that's the title of this episode. Really, what we want to do is think about what we call side to side in Kung Fu, bam, or a lateral squat, or a Cossack squat. Now, I can't do that, but that's pretty awesome. And so
also sometimes it's not just about the bathroom. You see people just like reading on the side.
Yeah. Or eating their food.
Eating their fun.
Right. So the first thing we got to do is be comfortable in the squat. And if you want to look cool doing a side to side, you've got to be comfortable in the squat. So this is awesome. We got two different angles here. Let's come on down to the squat and let's sit down. Now there's different ways to do this. Right now I am trying to keep my back relatively upright. Because I'm not loaded, it'd be cool if I'm rounded, if I was doing some work, right? But if the purpose is to work towards a side to side, we want to get comfortable in this position. So the first step is, can you do this? And if you cannot, what are the next steps?
If you cannot, then you should not do this.
That is the point, right? So a lot of people like to go, especially in Kung Fu, do what we call side to sides or this kind of lateral lunge, and they're not ready for it. You want to be ready for it, you have to spend some time in the squat. So what is a good way to see if to find out what is it that's limiting you in the squat? Because there could be a ton of different things. What I found is just an easy way to check is just by raising the heels.
Because that's usually part of the problem, that we get the squats that are a bit like this.
Yeah, I like how you're holding my hand, that's awesome. Right, we get squats like that, and that is not really going to translate towards the side to sides and towards stability that you need. You need to have both feet flat on the ground.
Yes.
And ideally, again, if you're squatting, just hanging out, toes out a little bit, just here, that's fine, right? But if the purpose is that we want to get to a strong base, which is almost like a one-leg squat with the other leg out, you should practice having the toes straight out, right? Not saying that that's how you should squat all the time. I'm just saying think about what the goal is. And so a good way to find out, okay, what's one of the problems that you might have is by raising your heel. Right here I have a yoga mat. This could just as easily be a 2x4, which is something that I use in my studio. Okay, cool. It could also be there you go. It could also be a book, a couple of inches thick, right? And then you squat down. Now, even though you've got a good squat, Mimi,
that's much better.
Right, it's much more comfortable.
Yeah, because sometimes you do feel like this, like you're
right.
Like, oh, am I gonna fall forward or am I gonna fall back? And
right, and so this stuff right here starts working. Now, even if you've got a good squat, that stuff may work, and this takes it off. If you don't have a good squat, but raising your heels immediately improves it, and you're like, wow, I feel a lot better, then it could be possibly your ankles. More than likely, it's your ankles.
That's this area here.
Yeah, and so we have an episode stretching the ankles, but I'm just going to do a quick review right now on stuff to do for stretching your ankles. So if you see me here, I like to just always demo my left side because my left leg is my left ankle is the one that's got a problem. So my left ankle is the one that's a little bit behind my right ankle. So what you do is get into a position where you feel relatively comfortable, your knee pretty close to your other foot. My left knee is up, my left arm comes out, and it's almost like if I'm holding onto a glass of water, and I spill that glass of water drive the ridge of my hand into my ankle. Something else that I've been doing is also grabbing the bottom of my foot and pulling on it to create kind of an arch. Now I drive my knee forward. And you can do this as a couple of pulses. You can also just hang out there, right? The arm on the inside of your leg so your knee drives out is a great way to know that you're doing this right. And since we're talking about tribal societies, can you hand me that spear that we picked up in...
This is from the Amazon. No joke, from the Amazon, when we were on the Amazon River.
And it was you, and they sold us on it. You know how? This is from the trees from the Amazon, and we use it to hunt alligators. Crocodiles. Anyway, pay no attention to the spear, but basically, if I line up a stick, a dowel, or a spear in line with my fourth toe, and then drive my knee forward towards the outside of the dowel while maintaining a vertical dowel, then I'm creating the same thing. I'm creating that kind of shortened foot, I'm stretching the ankle, and I want to be stretching this back part. So again, we've got an episode where we talk a little bit more about this. You don't have to go, we don't have to go too much into this here. But do your ankle mobility if you found out this is an issue. The other thing is you still want to spend time in the squat, even if your ankles aren't ready for it. And so that's why we have this. So ideally, you're spending 2 minutes or more hanging out in the squat. Over time, you realize you've gotten better, and a yoga mat is an awesome tool. A rolled up towel is also an awesome tool, because then you can just take away a layer and your heels are still raised and just proceed down. You can make it as thick as you want or as thin as you want. A little bit of assistance once you have a squat goes a long way. And just over time you build up time in the squat. So, quick recap is you need to spend time in the squat if you want to be able to do the side to side, Cossack squat, lateral lunge, whatever you want to call it. A quick test to see, hey, what's limiting me from being down there could be this. It's not the overall answer for everything, but it could be something. And then that means if you and it improves drastically, then it could be your ankles, work on your ankle mobility. But just because you're working on your ankle mobility, don't stop practicing the squat, even if you're hanging out with the heels raised. Now, how do you improve your squat once you have it, or even in this position? I'm going to demonstrate this for you. Or do you have anything else you think would be a good squat improvement tactic?
I like to see where you're going with this.
Perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into my squat.
Other than hanging on the door.
Right? And now I'm here, I'm comfortable, I'm trying to get relatively vertical. I'm going to take my hands and grab the bottoms of my feet. And I'm going to actually try to, as if you're familiar with like squatting a heavy weight or deadlifting weight, I'm going to actually try to lift myself up, but not move because I'm holding myself down. So I'm trying to lift from my chest up, drive my heels into the floor, and what we don't want is your hips coming up. So from here, I'm grabbing the bottoms of my feet, chest is up, I'm driving my feet through the floor, but I'm trying to lift myself up as if I'm wedged under a heavy weight. And I build up some tension here. And then the reverse would be now arms out, squeezing, and pulling myself down, down, down into the squat, and then relaxing. There could be more to it than that, but those slight little isometrics will get you stronger in that position. Even if your heel is raised, you'll get stronger in that position, and then you'll be able to lower it. Or even if your heels are not raised and you're down here, you will also get stronger in this position, so that when it's time to stick your leg out for the side to side, you will be ready to go. That's all I got for the squat.
I was just saying that, you know, the one where you hold onto the door or ask for assistance. I just want to hold his hand. Hi.
Yes. So, yeah, holding onto a door, a sturdy frame, or a sturdy friend. The person who's holding, see how I kind of kick my leg back? This allows Mimi to kind of, if she wants to shift her weight side to side, she could, if she's really were struggling. She's not, she's barely holding onto my hand, but if she had to, she could really, we could pull on it.
Or it's like the trust thing where you're like, oh,
yeah.
no, don't let me fall.
And the other reason why this is good, and I'm glad you brought it up, is that if you're down there and you feel like, well, I don't have my balance, but you're not, that is awesome news because basically it's just a strength thing. You're just not strong enough to hold yourself up, right? Yeah, that was nice holding hands. If we work on all of these steps and get your squat solid and strong, then the next step is kicking that leg out, and you'll be able to have a very nice side to side. Maybe not as nice as Mimi's, but work towards it.
It will be much nicer than mine.
And I think that is it. So tune in next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Yes, because we're actually going to get more into the side-to-side.
Right.
So once you've got your prerequisite, which is the squat, we'll go into the side-to-side action.
Right. From now till then, just try once a day. Spend even 30 seconds, anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes in your squat, and then we're going to work on the next thing, side to side. If not, we're going to hunt you down like a crocodile in the Amazon. We got the spear to prove it.
I do want to say that when I got this, we got on the boat to get back on the boat because we were doing a cruise to the Amazon River. And when I got this spear, everyone was like, oh, why'd you get that spear? And then when I got on the boat and I was showing it off, everybody wanted one, but it was too late. Because
but how were you holding the spear? That's probably why. That's probably why everybody wanted it.
What do you mean?
Like,
I was just holding it like this.
no, that's not.
I was totally like owning the spear. I might have done, some spear techniques. Maybe. I don't know.
Awesome.
It was pretty exciting. So yes, get your spear from the Amazon, but if you can't, work on your squat.
Until next week.
7:45 every Tuesday. Tune in, subscribe, say hello, ask questions. See you next week.